The way to do it is to either put your hand up, which is a little icon, or where can they find that on
the bottom of the screen?
Bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it says right hand.
Perfect. And then there's also a Q&A section. So where can they find that?
Q&A is also at the bottom. You should just see a little pop-up and you can submit a question in there. So just keep in mind, if you raise your hand, we'll probably pull you in to speak on your microphone. So if you just want to write a written question in, use the Q&A feature for that.
Yeah. So if you're watching this live right now, we are doing this on a Zoom call. There's a link to join the discussion if you want to be part of that. We're not patrolling the comments on the live, so you need to be part of the Zoom call. So anyone who's on here now can join the discussion today. This is our public forum, and then we also have private forums that we're going to be running for our members. Mark, because I just saw your comment there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt another really intense technological thing right now.
You got this.
Yeah, I got to hide all my porn before I share my screen. There's little problems, man. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to make sure that the computer sound is shared, and I'm going to take you guys into this video where we're just going to have a quick listen to this, because I think it will really help to reinstate, you know, how to act, and not how to act, but to reinstate optimism during this time that we're going through. Oh, I need to install Zoom audio. God, it's gonna make me install thing.
Do you want me to do it on my end?
I think it worked. Well, let's see. Can you guys see my screen?
The infinite mindset helps in terms of...
Yeah, you can hear it too. Yeah.
Here? Okay, cool. So we're just gonna watch like a minute or two of this. So this is a guy called Simon Sinek. He is a pretty big marketing guru out there, and this is a Zoom call with his team. So have a listen to this.
Like these. And I had a thought on that call that I wanted to share with everybody, which is these are not unprecedented times. There are many cases, lists of cases, where change or something unexpected has put many companies out of business and made other companies come out stronger and reinvent themselves. The invention of the internet put many, many companies out of business. The ones who could not reinvent their companies for the internet age, but rather doubled down on the old way they did business. Every video store is out of business because of streaming, and they couldn't reinvent themselves. When Starbucks moved into neighborhoods, many, many companies went out of business. Many coffee shops went out of business, not because of Starbucks, but because they refused to change the way they did business. They still had an old ripped up couch when you had a better product. Uber is putting taxi companies out of business, not because of Uber, it's because the taxis refuse to change. This is not unprecedented. The fact that something new and this more sudden, absolutely. More shocking, absolutely. Without a doubt. But this is not unprecedented in the business world. And so for us to say, not how do we do what we're doing, but rather, how will we do what we're doing in a different world? And the world is different. And the thing that I said on this interview was, it's the companies that have been investing in will and having an infinite mindset for a long time that will come out of this stronger, because they're prepared. Many of them were saving money as opposed to giving out huge fat bonuses to everybody and spending all the money, and the will of the people is high to figure out a way through it. The ones that are struggling the most are the ones that spent all their money, saved nothing, appeased Wall Street, and the will of the people is low, that people are in survival mode rather than reinvention mode. It's the companies that with an infinite mindset that are in reinvention mode, it's the companies with a finite mindset that are in survival mode, regardless of how much money they have. It's the mindset. How are we going to get through this versus how are we going to change to get through this? So I feel so optimistic because We're thinking about the future. We're in a dark tunnel, but there's a light over there. I don't know how far away that light is, but I can see it. But we're in darkness now, but when we come out of there, we will have a better train. A different train. We will be a completely different business. Some of us will have different jobs by the time we get out of this. And that's our opportunity. The opportunity is what will we be, not how do we preserve what we had.
So I really resonated with his message, and I'll post a link to that video for anyone who wants to watch the whole, the whole video. It's not that long; it's about 3 minutes long. But he touches upon quite a few topics that I think are really important to remember here. The first one being is that concept of the infinite mindset, and whatever you want to call it, infinite or growth or optimism. I think the point being is that the most important thing that you can do right now for your business is to make sure that you are not in a state of panic and fear and anxiety. Like, that has to be your number one priority, to get yourself out of that. And you need to do whatever it takes to do that. If you need to go for a 2-hour run or meditate for 3 hours or talk with friends for 2 days and do nothing, then that's, if you need to masturbate for 3 hours, like, you just gotta do what you gotta do to pull yourself out of that, because nothing good is going to come out of you being in that reactive sort of mindset where you're just coming from, how the hell do I just survive this, instead of seeing this as an opportunity, because what he's saying is so true. Change is nothing new, right? This has happened all the time. This is something that, Facebook, we're Facebook marketers, for Christ's sake. Like, we are the most adaptable people on this planet because Facebook changes shit on us every freaking day, doesn't even tell us that it's done that. And we kind of have to figure it out by losing money and it's blowing up in our face, or getting our accounts shut down, or business managers shut down. So we're really lucky in the sense that Facebook has been training us for this moment our whole lives. We're super adaptable. And I think the most important thing is that growth mindset. And the other point that he touches on is, we're in this funnel and we don't know how long or how far this funnel goes, but there's a light at the tunnel. And I think that's one other really important point that I have come to grips with over the last sort of week and a half, is that the reality is no one right now knows how this is going to play out. No one. Anyone who pretends to know is full of bullshit. It's like saying this is how life works. Sure, that's your theory, but you won't ever know that until your light dies out or whatever. And even then. But no one really knows how long this is going to go on for, what this means for the economy, what this means for an industry. And I think the point being here is that you can't have your head in the sand about it, but you shouldn't be panicked about it. So it's finding that balance and acting as if, okay, what is sort of the next move that I need to make based off an understanding that potentially this could go on for a long time, but also how do I adapt in a way that if it doesn't go on for a long time, I'm still here, I'm still relevant, I'm still in demand. So I think that's another really good point. And so all of this to share with you guys some positive news that I've been really immersed in the groups and hearing conversations and seeing that this industry as a whole is so lucky. Yes, some of us have lost a lot of clients. Some of us are losing clients right now. Some of us have been hit harder than others, but the fact that your peers are still closing clients, are still doing well, should reinforce confidence. It might mean you just need to make a couple changes. And it probably means you need to change the way that you're operating your business in some way or form. So, bearing that in mind, I wanted to bring Katja on today because, it's all good to also say, this is a great opportunity, a moment for reinvention. The reality is our clients are panicking, and some of them more than others. And I know I've been messaging a couple of you guys, and you've managed to talk some clients off the ledge, and they've retained retainers with you. So I wanted to start off this show today with a little chat about crisis management and how to handle clients basically wanting to leave you. So Katja is actually a coach inside of the academy, and she's like the queen of processes. And you just did a training, I think it was literally today, right? To the group.
A few hours ago, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I rushed on Messenger. I was like, Katja, I'm hijacking you. This is awesome. Let's do this on the talk show. So I guess, do you want to just share kind of, some points or some advice that you might be able to give for anyone that's dealing with clients right now who are trying to cancel or pause or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. And of course, I appreciate you having me on here, because I've been talking about this stuff for years, for actually 7 or 8 years, but now suddenly it's become very important and very urgent. So I'm trying to get this out to as many people as possible. And this kind of goes into a deeper discussion and curriculum that I've had going on inside of the academy, because we've been talking about SOPs and contingency plans and stuff like that. So I'm going to give the high level overview and try to break it down as well as possible for you guys on this forum to take away and implement. But basically, what we have to do, and it goes into a lot of the reinvention and the change, and who are you going to be, and what are you going to do, and what are you going to change? Because like Kat said, and like Simon said, no one really knows what's going to happen, and there's no one right way to do this. And I've noticed in the past couple of weeks that I've had people coming to me and asking me Kat, what do we do? What's the right thing to do with our clients? What's the right thing to do with our team? What's the right thing? And honestly, I don't know. No one knows. So you're going to have to listen to what I'm about to say and go aside for a little while, meditate, journal, do what you need to do, and really get creative and start thinking strategically. Especially if you're an entrepreneur and if you've been on the online space, we are problem solvers. We were made to solve problems. And so this is the time that you need to use your skill and your problem solving and your critical thinking and creative thinking for this pandemic and for your clients and for your team. And so specifically for clients, literally the past couple of weeks, I've just sat down and I'm going to give you kind of a step-by-step of what I've done. And it's really, really simple. What gets complicated is more of the people side of things, and I'll discuss that further in a little bit. But the first thing that I do, or that I did with all my clients, is that I needed to ask the question, is this service essential to my clients? Absolutely necessary. Is this going to impact their business in a way that's noticeable to people? Because at this point, if people don't feel the value, they're going to leave. If they don't feel like it's essential, they're going to leave and go purchase something essential. And if your service or whatever service they're using is not essential, we need to acknowledge that sooner rather than later, instead of just sitting here pretending they might keep paying us. And when we've realized that, and maybe our services are not essential, this is where the pivoting comes in. This is where it's okay, well, what is essential for this industry, for this type of client, for this financial landscape, for this geography, for this type of business? There's a lot of different things that you have to look at and determine, and that's actually the second step of I have an SOP for crisis management SOPs. This is the second step is taking inventory of what's going on in your audience and your clients' lives and businesses, and I look at everything, geography, what's going on with the government, are they on lockdown, is there a quarantine happening, how's the Wi-Fi going on there, are businesses closed, what's going on in the industry, what industries are thriving, which ones are just surviving and completely shut down, How are they doing emotionally? How are they doing financially? And I will either research this or get into conversations or just figure it out in some way and take inventory before I do or say anything. And so, is the service essential? And if you don't know, by taking inventory, you'll find out by, like, especially with people's emotions and financial situations, they will tell you what is essential in their life, or you'll know that your service isn't going to impact something, either help them pay the bills, or help them take care of their families, or help take care of their business in some way. That's all people are focused on right now. And another good question to ask is, did they lose anything? Or do they have any limitations right now? And because the next step after that is like, how are you going to respond to that? And what are you going to do about that? There's a lot of self-perceived limitations right now that as entrepreneurs and as problem solvers, we can just lay it out on the table and be like, this is the problem and this is the limitation you're perceiving. Here's this go-around way that I've discovered. Can I help you with that? That's probably one of the most valuable things that you can do. And the discussion inside of the Academy today was amazing because we were talking like, almost selfishly, we've helped brick and mortar businesses. One example for me is my dance studio. I've been telling them to put their dance classes online for over a year because I just felt really uncomfortable doing a high heels class in front of everybody because I am not the best dancer ever. And so now, they had to shut down, and I even for a second thought, well, maybe I should cancel my membership. And they emailed us, and they're like, hey, if you cancel your membership, there won't be a dance studio to come back to. So instead of canceling, let's put the classes on a Facebook group, and we will post the video at the time of your dance class. Like, how amazing is that? I almost wish they did that way before this time, and I hope they continue it. I hope they don't stop it, but they might. It depends. But same thing with like a hair salon. Like, they've been selling gift cards. They've been teaching classes to other hair salons on how to pre-book during this time. Like, there's so many opportunities that your clients are probably not thinking of, that with your marketing brain, with your sales brain, with the skills that you have, with the creative thinking that you have, you can show them an opportunity that they didn't see there before and help them build that, which in turn, and we got into really deep discussion, but to summarize it, us as business owners, we do need to pay our own bills and take care of our own stuff. And so finding the people that have the resources, that did save, that do have that excess, working with them to help pivot their business, find new opportunities, find new ways of doing things to also then help and give back to the people that are in need. And one of the coolest things that I've seen in pivots is from Twitch streaming. And if you don't know what Twitch is, it's actually a live streaming platform for video gamers and artists, creatives, musicians. And it was bought by Amazon, so it's linked with Amazon Music and Amazon Prime and stuff. And just this past weekend on Saturday, they did what they called Stream Aid 2020, and they had a bunch of celebrities, a bunch of smaller streamers that are musicians and stuff like that. And they were all going in 15-minute blocks, performing and racking up donations. They got up to 2.7 million donations for the World Health Organization in just that 12-hour live stream that they did. And it's so funny because I was watching celebrities live streaming from their phones, trying to figure out all of the technology. They're like, what's going on here? I don't know how to use this. They press a button and they disconnect, and then they have to reconnect to the live stream, and it's like a total shit show. It was so funny. And then they start performing, and they're like, this is so weird. The room's quiet. I'm used to cheering after I finish a song. And I'm just like, that's the funniest thing. But they are pivoting, and they are changing, and they have that excess, and they have that privilege to be able to perform and do what they love and make money from it, and then also give back to those that are in need with the donations, right? And so with all of that being said, for each one of my clients, even though I work with mainly digital marketing agencies and they all do Facebook ads, every single SOP that I built out, and by SOP I mean a very quick checklist and an email template, literally they all look different because all the industries and the clients need different types of pivots, and we had to sit down and get clear on that. And so for one client, we're sending financial aid care packages. It's like, these are some links to like homeless shelters and some financial resources in your state. For other care packages, we've sent out like, hey, Stripe and PayPal have loans, and hey, there's business grants. Facebook has a grant going out right now. For other people, we've said, hey, we're going to defer payments for a little while. Or, hey, we've got an introductory offer to help you with this smaller piece of the puzzle that's going to help you in the long run, and then after some time, we'll see where we're at, because we have no idea where we're going to be at. And then I've had other clients that completely pivoted, where it's like, you know what, my market is completely dead, but I know that I can serve people in this other way right now, so I'm going to go do that. And they go to the same people that they already had and say, like, you have this problem, let me help you with it, and we both win out of this relationship. And I think that's been a big thing going on with social distancing, is that we are now able, we all have the privilege and the luxury and the amazing opportunity to connect online through video, through audio, through text, through social media, and now we are required to use it and leverage it, to come back together, to support each other, to help anyone, like emotionally, financially, with everything that's going on in this world. And so you have to do some self-reflection here to see if your service is essential, and if it's not, that's totally okay. I've had to get rid of certain services because I knew, like, this is not going to happen. And I've had some clients try to launch something, and it was just really insensitive and not the right time to launch it, you know? And so you just have to be really honest with yourself, see if it's essential, see what's going on with the other person on the other side of that computer screen, what's going on in their life and business, and then create just a quick checklist. It doesn't need to be complicated. What resources can you give them? What support can you give them? How is your work together going to change, if it is going to change? And how's your team impacted inside of that relationship? Is your team going to be contributing more? Do they have to pivot in some way? If you're offering a different thing, are you training your team in that new offer? And communicate those changes to people, because I think just from the feedback I've gotten so far, so many people are really open to connecting and to communicating about this and to figuring it out together. I've actually seen less ghosting from clients now than ever before. People are actually reaching out and saying, hey, like, this is really a struggle for me. Can we defer payment plans, or can we talk about this? And they're actually willing to talk about it. And I think it's a little bit about being at home by yourself. Yeah. You kind of want to connect with
That's
people.
Such an interesting byproduct, right?
Right?
You were ghosting. So basically, I guess like the main thing you're saying here is being proactive, right? Understand the circumstances that they're operating in, what have they lost, and be proactive in the comms that you have with them. We actually just published a whole article on like some ways that you can help your clients, and that's up on Digital Distillery if you guys want to check that out for some additional tips here. What would you say to those that weren't proactive and now they're dealing with clients who are coming to them saying, I want to cancel?
It's not too late. And actually, there was one client who was getting a lot of emails like, hey, I want to cancel, hey, I want to pause, and we built the SOP after the fact. I literally just told them, get on the phone with these people, because really they're scared, they're freaked out. Get on the phone, give them some time to vent, be there for them, like have some empathy, be like, this is a human being on the other line experiencing something really terrifying, and like, it's like, you know, the monkey brain, it's like they're in freak out mode, it's chaotic, it's crazy right now for a lot of people, and it's scary because there's death also linked to this global situation, right? So for a lot of empaths and for very highly sensitive people, that's really like a heavy emotional burden for a lot of people, especially business owners and people just working with businesses. And especially if your industry was completely shut down, that's just like, you just kind of have to give that person space to feel their feelings, you know? So I told my client, get on the phone, let them feel their feelings, let them vent to you. And if there's an area, like put your problem solving cap on, if there's an area for improvement or for support or for an opportunity, present it to them with zero expectations. And most of the people will take you on it, because at this point people will do whatever it takes to feed their families. This is urgent at this point.
Yeah.
And then you can talk about the payment plans, or you can talk about canceling. And at that point, people are like, you know what? I just appreciate the connection so much. I want to make this work, and help them recommit to the opportunity that is going to get them past this really tough time.
And even if they decide to put things on hold or cancel, the very fact that you went over and above in that way is going to really mean a lot. So maybe you're not making a return on that right now, but potentially, down the line, that is something that's definitely going to bear fruit for you. And I really appreciate how you talked about the concept that so many people, uncertainty and change is something that we hate as humans. And it's under this shroud of a pandemic and the news and lockdowns, there is so much fear. And one of the things that is so true in marketing is that people will never buy if they are in a space of fear, right? They're only going to buy things that are going to serve their physiological safety and basic needs. So the first point to that is, like, if you show up afraid as well, then you've got two people on a call that are just panicking, and that's not going to be good for anyone. So you got to get yourself in check, and I think your job is to really step up and ease that panic for your clients. And maybe that's showing them hey, your competitors are doing this, or hey, there's hope, these are the opportunities. Ease the fear. That is your job right now. Whether you have to run a live forum like this for your niche, or publish a blog post, or set up Google alerts so that you can keep tabs on competitors and the industries and ideas and innovations. It's your job right now to be the leader and step up and get them out of that fear, because in that state, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to cancel, right? Everyone's going to pause, and that is the biggest mistake you can make at this stage, right? So thank you so much for that, Katja, for sharing that. We're going to open up the floor later on around clients leaving and handling that kind of situation. For those of you guys that are in a situation where you want to pivot or adapt, or you're confused about what to do as well, and or you are interested in making some shifts inside of your agency, we also have our team set up, our team, David, our huge team. We have David in lockdown here in New Zealand, and he can talk to you guys about some of the opportunities and options that you guys have. So if you guys want to chat with him, the link for that is cathowell.com/growth. As I mentioned, there's also some resources on digitaldistillery.com around helping your clients during this time. So thank you so much, Katja. Thanks for letting me hijack you.
Of course.
Cool. So I want to shift this a little bit, because one of the things that Katja actually talked about is subsidies and grants and the opportunities that are happening in the marketplace. So I think it's actually really important for all of us right now to make a list, certainly of the, whatever types of clients you're working with and whatever area that you're in, whether it's the States or Canada or whatever, and understanding what is available in terms of grants and subsidies for small businesses, because you can really help your clients and your own business, by the way. So here in New Zealand, I'm really fortunate that the government has been very, very generous in helping businesses out, and they are providing subsidies. It was basically like they just deposited money in the account. No emails, no confirmation, nothing. That's how insane the situation is. But it at least gives us some buffer to weather this out so that we're not in a reactive mode. I've also recently heard that Canada has just opened up a $40,000 line of credit, of which $10,000 doesn't need to be refunded. So if you're speaking to a client, so for yourself, that could be something that could be really beneficial to get you out of that reactive, panicked mode, but also for your clients, right? It could be having that that list of resources they can tap into can help you get leads across the line, can help them to find ways to actually invest in their business and in your services right now if they have their backs against the wall. So this is what I want to do right now. I want to open the floor up, and anyone that has tapped into a subsidy or a grant, put your hand up. That's probably the easiest thing. Or also, if you have a question that you would like to ask on the Q&A call today, you can also ask it in the Q&A section, and we will be patrolling that too. So I see that we've got someone with their hands up here, so we'll bring them on. And then after that, I'd love to have a discussion around, so there's, last week on the call, there was sort of, and on the mastermind call as well, there was sort of a separation in, or I shouldn't say separation, there's different trains of thought. So there's one school of thought that is going, listen, this is so fresh, it's 2 weeks old, it literally hit middle of March, or in March anyways, and we just need the dust to settle, and there's no point pivoting, there's no point making some big moves right now. Just let the dust settle and see where it settles, and then you can plan quietly. So keep your business minimal right now, plan quietly, and then make decisions once the world is a little bit less frantic and people are starting to breathe a little bit more. The other train of thought is, well, we don't know how long this is going to last for, so move. Just move on it and adapt and pivot. So I also want to get your thoughts on where you stand in terms of which camp are you in? Are you sort of waiting it out and seeing where things fall, or are you sort of making some moves right now in your business? So if you feel like you would like to join the discussion with that, also put your hand up, or you can type inside of the Q&A. So who have we got up first, Nicole?
Well, Claudia's got her hand up, but I don't think I'm a co-host, so I actually can't bring her on. So either you can make me...
There we go. Done.
Perfect.
That one was
cool.
easy.
So Claudia. We'll bring Claudia in now. There we go.
Oh man, you guys are posting all sorts of grant options, so make sure you watch that chat.
Oh yeah, I also posted, actually I just applied through the Small Business Administration. We are in the United States, in the state of Maryland, and the Small Business Administration relief option is for, I believe, all the states, so it's for the whole United States. And the process took literally less than 5 minutes if you have the data. All they wanted was your 12-month before the disaster, before January 31st. They consider the last, the beginning of the COVID disaster. They wanted gross income, and then they wanted if you have cost of goods sold, which in our case was not the case because we're a service company. And that's basically it. And the company, tax number and contact information. One thing that's very important, there is a check there, and then a check mark that you can check to get $10,000 in advance. And make sure you check that. And this is probably what Kat was talking about. That's in Canada. So in the US is similar. They give $10,000 in advance, so likely to just deposit it, and then you'll be in contact with a bank that's actually going to process your loan. But the process itself to apply takes 5 minutes, even less, and I put the link out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's
So you haven't heard back from it, but you just applied for it, is that right?
just literally before this meeting. I applied. So.
Okay. And so how much would you get from that if you got it? Or it
We
covers
don't
the
know.
salaries?
It's based
Okay.
on your income for the past year, but the process was much different a week ago because I was looking into it, and they needed so much more proof of 3 years of taxes and all of that, and now they streamlined the process really, really, really well. So I totally recommend it. Also applies to freelancers. That's another thing. So you don't really need to be a company with employees. You can be just a freelancer, and you can apply for it.
And how are you doing? Because you have a pretty big team, right?
Yeah, fairly big. Not super big. We're 4 plus 18, so yeah, I guess we are a little. But we'll be okay for 3 months. We are just trying to pivot now to open. We're taking this time to work on opening an online school. So.
Because you were working with sporting clubs, right? And
Yeah,
obviously they
real
hit
estate
pretty
and
hard.
sports club,
Yeah.
and both have been impacted really, really hard. So
Mhm. But it's a great thing that you have that runway. That's a huge thing.
yes, and I was just about to get a new office right before this, and things happen for a reason, I guess. But they wanted a 3-year lease with a lot more rent than we pay right now, and I was wondering whether to use my the emergency fund to put a down payment there and get that office. And
Oh my God. So
I know, and it didn't come through, and we were so upset. And now I am beyond grateful and happy, and
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's really good to thank you for sharing, by the way. So it's really good that you've got the 3-month runway, and it sounds like your stance on things is to pivot. So you're not gonna wait and see if you're not expecting this to be over in the next month or so, right? You're realizing
definitely not the next month. And even when it's over, things are gonna pick up slower than people expect, just because there's a lot of apprehension from we won't come out of this in a sudden way. Like one day it's like, okay, we're back. So
it'll be April Fools tomorrow. It'll be like, hey, April Fools.
Yeah,
we
go
got
to
you.
work.
I think I had a dream that it was all an April Fool's joke, and then I woke up and I was really disappointed that it was still March, so it couldn't have been true. But if only. Oh my God.
And it will be like the Tiger King as well that comes out. He's like, April Fools, guys.
Got you all.
You're all inside
Got me
my
for
reality
president.
show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, while we're going through it, especially if you're one of the agencies that have to make the pivots and have lost clients, it's definitely not fun. I don't think there's any nice way to put it, right? It's like, for fuck's sakes, I was just getting things going, and then the world has a pandemic. But on the back of this, as long as you push forward and make sure that you're protecting yourself, your mindset, and your business, then you're gonna look back in 10 years and go, wow, remember that when I made that pivot and this happened, or I launched this online business and made my millions from it. So yeah, you'll have to share that when that's all done. Thank you, Claudia.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of really good links shared here, and I will save this chat for later so we can compile a list of all the grants that are available across the world. So thanks. If there are additional grants that you are aware of in your part of the world, share them in that chat, because I will compile all of those afterwards and we will publish those for you guys. Just something for yourself to tap into, and also to bring to the table with your leads, right, that you're talking to, or your clients, and help them, like what Katja was saying. So there's some for Canada, AU, certainly in New Zealand and the United States. I'm not sure what it's like. Oh, there's one in the UK, claim a grant. Employment income support. Okay, so make sure that you guys do tap into that support that is available for you. Don't let your pride get in the way here. There's nothing wrong. This is why the government is dishing them out like candy right now, because businesses need them, and it is the times that we are in. Okay, cool. So let's open up the floor with another person. So who do we have up next, Nicole?
We actually don't have anyone with their hand up, so I'm not sure if there's anyone that actually has anything to say, but there are some questions in the chat if you want to have a look at those and maybe tackle some of them.
Yeah, there's a really good question here from Yasmin. How can we pitch our marketing services with confidence in this climate, since we don't know what will happen? What result outcome would people be interested in? So we kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but I think the main point being that none of us really know what is going to happen or where this is going to go. And I think it's okay to tell your leads that without instilling fear, right? It's okay to have an honest conversation and you don't have to show up to calls and be like, oh no, you have to do this because this is where the industry's going and this is the future. It's okay to show up to calls and say, listen, here's the truth. No one freaking knows what's going to happen. What I do know is that if you don't make a move, or if you don't do something and this keeps going on for another 3 or 6 months, where does that leave you in your business, right? So I think it's just about having a really honest conversation and looking kind of exactly what Katja was saying, right? What are they losing right now? What have they lost? What is happening in their industry? And taking that into account and just being very blunt about it and being truthful. You don't have to make up shit. You don't have to say, yeah, this is online yoga is where it's at, and your business is going to blow up. You can honestly say, we don't know. I don't even know where my business is going to be at. But what I do know is this, and here's what we do know. We do know that internet usage is up. I think it's like 35 or 40% or something like that. E-commerce is Shopify stocks have gone up 14%. Facebook ad costs have dropped 60%. What we also do know from historical data is it's the businesses that advertise during recessions. It's the businesses that put themselves out there during, the dot-com bust and 9/11, all of those incidences that happen. Those are the ones that came on top. This is what we do know. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know what it means. But what we do know is that, okay, people are stuck inside. Internet usage is up. We're all in isolation. This could last for 6 months, maybe even more. And if we don't make a move now, then you're in no better position, right? So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, or if anyone wants to add to that. I see we have someone with their hand up. Adam. Let's bring Adam on. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Nicole. Hey, Kat. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah, living the dream. You know how it is.
Living the dream. Nice photo. It does look like you're living the dream in that. Yeah. It's a backdrop. I thought it was an actual background of the city, but it's your computer.
It's just my computer. Yeah.
What a hack! Yeah, just put a tropical island there.
Yeah, that's right. Just literally living on an island at the moment.
For everyone tuning in, do you want to just share where you're at in the world right now and what the situation is with your business and what's happening with you?
Yeah, sure. So I was in the process of scaling the agency, sort of working with some contractors to deliver work, building out procedures and processes, and sort of building that out. And then obviously all this hit and started to really impact on me being able to work with contractors, I suppose, from a cost point of view. I haven't lost too many clients, but definitely found that there's been an impact, and so I had to sort of, take the reins over myself a little bit, but also looking to promote new products as well. So literally just in the process of launching a new product stream to help businesses, market in this time. Just sort of looking from an innovation standpoint, I suppose. Help a captive audience now. There's been a pattern disrupt with everyone globally. So I think people are much more attuned to looking at new products and services to help with their business.
So you're innovating physical products or services in your agency?
Yeah, so I was already in the process of launching, but we're actually white labeling an augmented reality app where we can promote our own brand and get clients to set up marketing campaigns using AR to promote their products and services. So I'm targeting a couple of different niches around.
You're developing an augmented reality app?
We're white labeling it, so it's available to everyone. So we've just launched our own brand. So essentially, from a credibility standpoint, we've got our own app on the App Store and Play Store, but it's available to everyone, including other agency owners. So I thought I'd share, not to promote mine, but to someone looking to help innovate for their niches, because you may or may not remember, Kat, I really struggled with niching down pretty much from when I was with the started with the academy, and strangely enough, it's helped me now being a bit more of a generalist, I suppose, rather than a specialist in a particular area. I can sort of work across different industries, across businesses, so that's helped me in this area.
Okay, so that is pretty innovative then. So you're going to be helping clients to promote themselves through an augmented reality app that you're white labeling.
Yeah, correct. So
that's really different, right?
Yeah, it's pretty out there. And again, it was something that was already happening prior to all this anyway, so I put the wheels in motion late last year, and it's actually been, it's going to sound really bad, but it's been beneficial that this is happening, because it means that more people are open to the idea of innovation, whereas when it's business as usual for people, they're not looking for these things. So if there's a way that you can innovate in your business, then it definitely makes sense now to look at that and start to put your systems and processes around that now, rather than holding up until times are better. Everyone is looking for an edge now.
Yeah. So now is the time to put yourself out there, your new offer, and AR is going to be blowing up, right? Virtual reality, augmented reality. People are so bored at home.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
I think Brooke shared a screenshot in our team chat the other day where she was like playing, some business had created a carousel ad where there's a chicken running across, and you have to screenshot the chicken so that it falls within a line. And I think she spent hours trying to do that. She was like, screenshot. Like, what else are people doing at home that are just on standby from their jobs right now, right? So
yeah, that's right, exactly.
There's going to be a huge boost in innovation with VR, all of that kind of stuff. And I know that I tried to buy a Nintendo Switch last night. Couldn't find anything online. Everything is sold out in the States, everywhere. Except eBay, and then it was like $2,000 bucks. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
What?
Yeah, I wish I had invested in Nintendo Switches.
No
I
way.
was stocked up on those motherfuckers. Yeah.
They should be hung. Those people, seriously, $2,000. What a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, and how ironic that not being able to niche down was kind of like your saving grace during this pandemic.
I know, tell me about it.
Yeah, so keep us posted and share links of what you're working on, because that's definitely really interesting stuff.
I'll share a link in the chat of the platform that I've set up, so you can get an idea of what it could look like. But also the company that White Label, they're based in Brisbane. In fact, they're pretty much across the street from where Nicole is in so she can go suss them out.
Yeah, I'll go scope them out and make sure it's legit first.
Yeah, make sure it's legit. Did you want me to share it in the chat, or do you guys want to get that first, or?
Oh yeah,
I think
share it in the
people
chat.
asking for it.
For
Yeah,
sure,
share
yeah.
it in the chat. I was just kidding.
Okay.
Someone else
Cool.
is
I'm just
saying
gonna go make sure
try
we're
buying
being
a
socially
webcam.
distant.
Yeah, that's right. Alright, thank you.
Do it across the road from
Thank
each
you.
other. Okay, cool. We'll take one more question and then we'll call this a wrap for today. So there's another question here from Ryan. For companies that are non-essential, events specifically, what would you do in terms of advertising where tickets are not selling and events are being postponed? Well, Tatcha, I don't know if you want to add to this because this kind of ties back into the lingo you were using where it's non-essential. What's your sort of take on this?
I've seen some really creative ways that events have been handling this. I know there's one event that was supposed to happen I think last week or this week, and what they did was they rescheduled the event to a later date and created a whole 6-month experience out of it. And they're still selling tickets, but they're now selling tickets to the whole experience and community, and the event is like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. I've also seen a lot of events doing them online, just, canceling the physical location and the flights and just doing a live online event that people pay for and just adding an extra community aspect to it, which a lot of people that aren't used to technology and stuff, they have no idea how to set up a live online event from their homes. They don't know how to set up communities. They don't know how to advertise and position that offer in that way, so you can come in and present a completely different package in this way where it's you can still deliver what you promised to those ticket sales, and you can do something innovative that probably your competitors aren't doing, and you can also have the revenue to still do the in-person events in the future when we can, all be in person. So it's like a win-win across the board. And of course, you have to look at the industry that you're in, and you have to look at what the event is about, and be more customized and strategic around it. But I've seen a lot of really cool things with events going on lately.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to just be innovative and a creative problem solver and talk to them. Talk to them about what resources they have, what distribution channels can they leverage, what existing relationships do they have in place. There was a discussion happening yesterday, for example, a lot of gyms are now going online and offering classes online. One of the easy things they can tag in there is selling home fitness products, right, as affiliates. That's pretty simple to set up for your clients. It's I don't even know where to get started with that. For you and I, that's not a hard thing to do, is setting up an affiliate link, and now they're creating extra revenue on top of the revenue that they're generating for online courses. So I think it's just really making sure you have a pulse on the industry for events. I do agree a lot of them are going online with summits and deferring. So, the big conferences that were supposed to happen in March were obviously deferred to, or April were deferred to later in the year, and hosting summits.
The Olympics got rescheduled. They're not canceling that. They're rescheduling it. And it's still going to be called 2020, even though it's in 2021. So no one cares.
No, that's actually amazing. I love that. Okay, cool. So we're going to bring Matt on quickly because, Matt, you've got some resources that you've been putting together that you want to share that might help.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. How you doing, Matt?
Okay. Yeah, good. I guess like everyone in this whole situation, we lost clients as well, like when the whole thing hit last week. So, we lost not lost, I should say, we just had a lot of retainers paused, but also projects that were coming up paused as well. So our idea was to try and get on the front foot and put a lot of content out there, which we're putting out basically every day. So the first thing we did for all of our retainer clients was send them a COVID-19 communication pack, which included a drafted email that they could send out to their customers and client base. social media posts with infographics that they can pin to the top of their Facebook pages. Also an update on their homepage with a link to the COVID-19 resources on their blog. What we've also put together is a COVID-19 communication plan checklist, which we're going to be sharing and giving away on Google Sheets. So it's got internal communication plan and external communication plan with all the ideas that they can use, and people can make this their own once we do give it away. That's also going into our call to actions on our blog. So we've probably released about 5 blogs already about coronavirus and ways you can keep marketing, why you should keep marketing hard right now, top hashtags to follow, 5 tips for managing a remote workforce. So our whole philosophy is just to put out a lot of content that's going to add value to our clients, but also prospects, and we're doing that every day. I think we've got a day in the life coming up as well with one of our account managers, Sarah, so a day in the life of a remote worker that'll be going out.
I love that.
How you can support your local businesses, so we've been putting out sliders on Instagram, infographics on Facebook, but not just to our current audience, we've been boosting all of these as well. It's just to try and get in front of a new audience, and also tagging a lot of local businesses around the area that need our help at the moment. So they see that, they're sharing it, and it just expands that reach. Again, a call to action on our homepage as well with the COVID-19 resources, so you can click through that. We measure that. We're on HubSpot, so we can measure all of this. We've added it to a campaign on HubSpot, so everything after this we can put together a case study of like how much social content we put out there, blogging content, what giveaways we put out there to make our clients' life a bit easier, but also prospects' life a bit easier. And having all the staff just share that across their LinkedIn channels, but also our LinkedIn channels and whatnot. So that's the sort of content that we're putting out there, and we put together a spreadsheet where we just all got together on Zoom like this and just brainstormed what can we be putting out there and every day. One thing I would suggest to everyone is assess your current blogging schedule and content schedule, because we're seeing a lot of people just still putting out, I guess, content that's not really timely and relevant at the moment. Like we had a lot of content scheduled for last week and this week, but we've just canned that for now, and we're just putting out content that's relevant, timely, and that's going to offer value to everyone out there at the moment.
Yeah, by the way, the chat is going off. People are loving this and what you're sharing.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so well done on being proactive, and I think that's a really big theme right now, is really hammering down on the content. And it kind of goes back to easing the fear, right? Helping people find normality through the turbulence and educating them and providing resources and communicating, just being super proactive with that. Have you started to see a benefit of all of this so far, or is it still too early days?
It's probably still too early. We haven't seen a benefit in actual, say, leads coming through, and we don't expect to see that now. And even with the giveaways, we're not asking, it's not gated, we're just giving it away. We don't want to be, coming across that way. It's like, no, let's just give it all away and let people use it and benefit from it. But what we have seen is a lot of interaction. As I said, I've been boosting, some of those sliders on Instagram, boosting some of the posts, the blog posts through Facebook, just to get in front of a new audience. So we've seen a lot more reach and a lot more interaction that way, more traffic to the blog on the website. So that's been good, but we feel we will pick up things after this, like when, once we start getting to the other side of this, if we can win, the visibility war, you could say now, that's going to benefit us later. But where we have seen the benefit is obviously being on the front foot and providing those compacts or those COVID-19 communication packs to our clients last week. Drafting those emails for them, the blog post, what they should be sending out. We send it out for them anyway once they've approved it. Branded infographics for them as well. We've branded our own email signatures. So we've got ways you can save lives in our email signatures, getting those key points across.
I love that.
We're trying to put it across everywhere. So when people do look at us, they can say, "Well, these guys are really, doing
Across
something
it.
about it and putting a lot of content out there and trying to help out."
I think that really touches on an important point here with the importance of just putting that kind of content out there, is that if as a lead or a prospect purchasing anything really at this stage, but certainly services for digital marketing, what they're going to be wanting to know is what you're selling me applicable now? And if none of your social channels, if your website, your emails, nothing like that even touches upon or acknowledges the fact that you have, you are aware of the situation, that you're across it, it's going to create a lot of doubt, I think, and that's going to be a buyer objection. Whereas if you're producing this type of content and then someone goes to book a call in with your agency or is interested in your services, they kind of innately know that, hey, you're offering me a service that you know is suited to what's happening here because you're publishing content about this stuff. So you're clearly across the situation right now.
Exactly. And even with the clients that did press pause, everyone got quite scared last week and the start of last week, and we did have, I guess like everybody, we did have clients press pause on their retainers. So we're sending them the packs, we're sending them content, we're constantly trying to help them out, because we do understand it's a scary time for a lot of businesses. So I'd recommend that too. Even if a client doesn't press pause or press cancel on your retainer or your project, still offer them that value. Still keep sending them things, because they will come back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thanks,
may
guys.
the force be with you, and this is going to pay off tenfold for you, so stick it through and keep us posted, please, on how it goes.
Okay.
I know so many people here are checking you out and stalking you online because maybe that's your new business,
definitely.
selling COVID-19 comms to freelancers.
Good for you.
Your pivot, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
my
seems-
pivot. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks
Alright.
for sharing that. Really appreciate
worries.
it.
Cheers.
Cool. So we are gonna wrap our live Q&A forum talk show, whatever the hell we're calling this today. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much, Katya, for joining us. Thank you to everyone that contributed, that asked questions, that shared their stories. I know these times are really, really, really hard and confusing, but as Simon Sinek said in his video, there is a light at the tunnel, and we are so fortunate to be in an industry that isn't going anywhere soon. People are going to need marketing, and they're definitely going to need digital marketing, because if anything, everything is going online now. So you're in a great space. Keep your head out. Remember to reach out to people in your network. There's a lot of people that are really lonely right now, going through some hard times. Send messages to those around you. Just reach out, touch base with people. It goes a long way nowadays. And if you yourself need any help whatsoever, reach out to us. Send us a message on Facebook. Our team is happy to chat. We're there for you guys. Thank
Join
you, Nicole.
the quiz night as well. Make sure you
Oh, the
guys
quiz
join that.
night! No,
Yeah.
I totally forgot. The quiz night. Okay, everyone on this call, quiz night, go to digitaldistillery.com/quiz. So, tomorrow, the day after, in 2 nights?
Day after tomorrow, 2 days.
Day
Yeah.
after tomorrow, we are hosting the Great Digital Marketers Quiz Night. So you can register your team. We're going to have some toilet paper prizes up for grabs. You can register a team. We've got our questions set up. We're locked and loaded. Bring some beer to the call. Bring some wine. Everything will be virtual. Go and register yourself, even if you're solo. Don't worry if you don't have a team. We will put you in a team, or if you have a team, sign up today. It's totally free. There's no cost, just for shits and giggles. And the quiz is going to be like half pop culture random and then half digital marketing questions. So hopefully you'll learn something as well during that night. So go to digitaldistillery.com/quiz, and I will see you guys in a couple days for that. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Katya. Thank you to everyone joining us on this call. See you guys on the next forum. Keep your head up and tap into the help that's there. See you guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.